Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
It's another beautiful day right here, and it is the first working day of the week, Monday, and we are here for Global Morning. A Global Morning is that program on global television that kickstarts your day on a beautiful note. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, I'm not alone. The Tag Team Monday, as usual, we are right here to beautify your day. At least we set the pace, and other people follow. And we are here this morning to do the same. It's good to have you. Today is Monday. I don't know why, despite everything that happened over the weekend, and you're still looking like this chef. No, it's good to be cheerful. It's good to whether stress, whether whatever. We need to do this job,
Exactly.
and we need to smile. Smile is contagious. you can see that just go smiling because you are smiling. Good morning, Jumai.
Good morning, Ramsey. It's great to be here. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Yes, it's a Tag Team Monday, and I am Jumai Manson. It's great to be here. I mentioned that again. And yes, smiling is contagious. People find it hard to smile, but hey, you have to smile to relieve the stress.
Do it.
It's very important.
Do it, because by the time you smile, there's something that happens to your nerves from your brain, in fact, all over your body. Your nerves will keep working. But by the time you frown, about 1 million of your nerves, is it millions? I don't know the actual number, but then they are contracted, and you know what that means. So
Exactly.
I don't even like seeing people. That's why all the time I ask people, hey, come on, why are you moody?
Exactly.
Why?
But at the same time, you should learn to cheer up. It's very, very important, right?
Yeah, it's so good because it's more like a tonic, yeah? It's more like a tonic.
Yes, it
and,
is.
A beautiful day like this needs to get started with a beautiful smile.
Yeah, like the one I have on my face right now.
Yeah, like we all have on our faces, like you also have on your face right now.
Yeah.
You know, we're making you smile right now, and it's so good. Do you know why you need to smile? Because it's not only you, the Nigeria.
Exactly.
All of us, we all do here, according to the worry people.
Exactly.
We all do here. All right. Okay, on Global Morning today, you know how we do it. The newspaper will be coming on your way almost immediately, where we'll do the review of the newspaper, what the national dailies are saying, because you need to be informed so that you are not deformed. And apart from that, we also have two very beautiful conversations today. I'll be talking about something very, very important. Sometimes you will be confused. What are we talking about? The polity is always hot. Is this how it used to be? Who are the people that are supposed to participate in politics? Then you begin to wonder, hey, come on. Is it the courts that now decide who wins an election or the electorate? You know, all of this put together and looking at the economy, even though some people are happy that the price of food is reducing
Especially
gradually.
in Kano State, they're having a field day.
Someone told me yesterday with excitement, I saw the excitement, I said, wow, this person has not probably felt the impact, but that they heard. You know, the excitement was so much. And someone said something, I was like, could that be through? Said, it's because of Ramadan. Or after Ramadan, the thing will go up again. I said, no, let it come down. But you know, in Nigeria, things go up, they don't come down. But now things are getting stabilized.
Exactly.
And remember that we were told that the economy is picking up.
Yes.
Compared to the percentage is not so much, because it was coming from I think the telecommunication and of course the banking sector improved the economy a little bit, and with what the president and the actors are doing, we hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel very soon. And the bottom line is this price of food.
Very important.
Me, I am just very particular about that one, oh, and you know why I'm particular about
Because
it.
you're a foodie. But the truth is,
You find out I'm not a foodie. It's because of you, Nigerians. It's because of you. Seriously.
But the thing is, of course, we know this present administration, they're going all out, to put all the checks and balances. And you know that there's sometimes when we talk about some of the issues that most Nigerians are not happy with. But some with this now, this is food we're talking about. Everyone must eat. It doesn't matter how big you are, how tall you are, how short you are. If you're a baby, you're an adult. Everyone must eat. Food is very important. It's a necessity in our life. It's a basic necessity, basically. And at the same time, of course, the people of Kano State are really happy because with the low cost of food now, and of course, it's coming towards this area, and we're all happy about it. But we hope, fingers crossed, that it stays that way. It just shows that this administration is really working and they understand the plight of the people.
Like I always say, we're waiting for when we can go to the market with a solar fin and it get filled with just 5,000 naira.
Okay.
That
just would be the day.
You're coming back with 5,000 naira.
Bag.
You have a polythene bag. Then
Two
polythene. Oh my gosh, she has increased it to 2. When you talk about markets, you talk about foodstuffs. The women have the rest of the story, like you see in our news. Our reporter from so place has the rest of the story. The women have the rest of the story because they are faced with these things on a daily basis. And then let's just get to the polity a little bit and see what is happening from the political scene. Like it's not yet over with the Natasha saga. A lot of people, a lot of reactions coming in. You keep hearing new things every day. But then I will still revert to what Saraki said. Is it all about the individual, all about the institution?
Exactly.
I think someone needs to bow. It's not all about pride here. It's not all about who is behind me. But it's all about this nation that we're trying every possible best to put on a global map. We want Nigerians' image to be built. We want everything corrected.
Exactly.
And see, the Red Chamber is one of the places that people hold at a very high esteem.
Very true.
Because major decisions in this country comes from there. So if things are going wrong from that access, there's a way Nigerians feel about it. So please, whatever it is, let it be settled. We're still waiting. UN said they won't do anything until they hear from the other party. And of course, the people in the camp of the Senate president have said, well, the Senate president does not owe the UN any obligation to go explain anything. And someone is saying something. Some people are of the school of thought that they should just allow peace to reign. And some women are saying, hey, come on, we're just 4. Now it is -1. What are we talking about here? Where is the place of women? We're not trying to be sentimental. We're not trying to be emotional. Well, some person will say, well, those statements are emotional, blackmail, and all of that. But then the truth is that more women, because at least now the neck will need to support the head. And we're waiting for that time. Well, what happened in South Africa will happen in Nigeria.
Yeah, truly.
Sir Philip Johnson,
exactly.
the former president from South Africa.
And the truth about this whole saga that is, I'll call it saga because we keep going back and forth when it comes to this. All right, now, let's quickly go on a very quick break and we'll continue with this topic of discuss. Do not go anywhere. It's Global Morning.
that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's Global Morning on Global Television. Welcome back for a very short break, and we're back, and we are better. Now, talking about Natasha, the case about Natasha, and of course, Godswill Akpabio, is something that, for me, Ramsey, you know, I always say before, there's some times when you might be right, but the angle in which you're going, it will make you completely wrong. But at the same time, we know it's all about, we know deep down it's not about you changing your seat. You know what played out. It's just, like I said, it's transfer of so many aggressions that has been happening. But I feel, you know, it's just justice. There's some women that want justice, and that is what she's fighting for. Like, there was a particular article I read about Natasha that said she knows that when she lands the country, she will be arrested. I don't know, there was something like that I read. But at the same time, let justice be done.
Why would she be arrested?
Really, I do not know, but that was
because she went to UN?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so.
But the thing is, let investigation should be made. So she won't look at it. Because the truth is, if you say everyone should shake hands and go, what really played out will still be speculations.
Yeah,
and they'll think that maybe they'll portray her as a liar, that maybe there was no sexual harassment, she just made the whole story up. But I think investigation should be done to know whether it is true or not. Deep down, I'm a woman, and of course, I won't, but from the way I look, and I'm wearing purple, of course, you know it's International Women's Day March, and we know the stance where I am. But at the same time...
But apart from that, apart from the fact that women will always support women, that's true. More so that we have more men in the house than we have women.
Exactly.
Then, Natasha, one of the things she's moving about with is that an attempt to silence her, an attempt to deprive her of her rights. If you read what she wrote and what she said at the UN across board there, that's exactly what she was hammering on. But now the truth is this: a lot of developing stories from that. That's why we're talking about it today. It's not something that just happened, but developing stories every day. I spoke with Natasha's lawyer a few days ago, and he said, well, he has not rested. They've been on the case. He's been moving from one place to the other. In fact, I was supposed to have him on our show today, but then he's been very, very busy. Meaning the law, you know, some barristers, people who know the law, by the time they know that someone is on her right, or maybe someone is on his right, there is this push with confidence because they already know where it is going to land. Understand? But one thing again that I keep thinking about is so many things happens from the judiciary. You know what's happening from the judiciary. All right. So this is Nigeria, and we're talking about the upper chamber right here, the red chamber. Anything is possible. But the reason why most senators are not supporting Natasha is because of the institution, not because of the Senate president. Even is it Senator Akimi, the senator from Natasha's Kogi Central, also, I think he had said, I've written to her, I've begged her, let's just allow this thing go. I sent her a message, and he read the message during the sitting. He did. And all of that. So a lot of people are pushing for reconciliation. Even I asked Natasha's lawyer, and he said, well, it's not as if Natasha is interested in anything about the Senate president's ambition, or maybe his position, or trying to tarnish his image or something. But if anyone sue for peace, then the peace will reign. But a lot of people are saying, we've not heard from the Senate president, we've not heard from the Senate president. Sometimes his spokespersons talk on their behalf. You know how it happens. So the bottom line is, let's try and do everything that we can do to make sure this thing ends well, so we don't have repetitions.
Truly, for it to end well, the suspension should be overturned.
Yeah, it should. We should talk
because
about 6 months.
it's a really long time. So I think we should start from there. I think when we start from there, we know that, okay, everyone at the same, because it's not just one person that will come out and say peace. The other party must be willing to accept peace. So one person say, okay, come, okay, you're like a sister to me. Okay, for maybe I must have spoken harshly to you in the past. I know that is what is transferring this particular aggression. Okay, let us just put down the 6-month suspension and let's move on. And then she will apologize because, hey, with all due respect, he is the Senate president. So she will apologize for peace to reign and everyone will move forward. But let's just see how well this plays out, basically. But at the same time, let the right thing and the needful thing be done.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly go on the newspaper review segment. We'll go on a very quick break, and then when we come back, like I mentioned, is a newspaper review. Do not go anywhere. Global Morning on Global Television. You are welcome back from that very short break, and like I mentioned, it's a newspaper review segment, and the first paper we'll be starting with is the Nigerian Tribune. And above the nameplate of the Nigerian Tribune, it says federal government must stop threatening Nigerians for criticizing government. Amnesty International. Ex-SGF ex-minister among promoters of coalition to challenge APC. I can find that read on page 40 of the Nigerian Tribune, and it says gunmen adopt businessman, wife, daughter in Ondo, demand 20 million naira ransom. And you can find that read on page 42. Now the star story there says SDP Sule Lamido tackles El-Rufai. That read is on page 40, and the writer says if PDP is struggling today, it is still the party that nurtured El-Rufai. If he claimed PDP is dead, then he must remember that it is the party that gave him the political foundation Whatever he has achieved today, PDP made it possible. And that's the rider on the Star story there. You can find that very interesting read on page 40. Below the Nigerian Tribune, it says, police inspector kills self in Ogun. What must have caused that? You have to go and get yourself a copy to find that out on page 42 of the Nigerian Tribune. NDLEA intercepts cocaine opium shipments in prayer beads and others. What will these miscreants not do? Prayer beads. And you find that on page 42 also of the Nigerian Tribune. And now over to page 40, it says pressure to impeach Plateau Speaker thickens. And PENCOM simplifies payment of retirement benefits on page 5. You'll find that read. Resurgence of the diphtheria, and it says, why is it a public health concern in Nigeria? Causes, transmission, diagnosis, symptoms, treatment, how to prevent it, breakdown of data of affected states according to NCDC. And that's all of the news making round on the Nigerian Tribune. And of course, one of the stories that caught my eye, of course, is the SDP saga with Sule Lamido that he's tackling El-Rufai, talking about his foundation when it comes to politics, that PDP was gave him that foundation that he became the FCT minister and of course the governor of Kaduna State. Talking about, what's your take on that, Ramsey?
Well, as it is right now, I have a belief about politicians. You know, by the time you're dissatisfied, by the time you're not getting what you want in one party, you cross carpets to the other party. So the constitutions need to be reviewed.
Exactly.
You know, let it be that if you get to any party, the conditions that will move you from that party to another party should be very, very serious conditions. Not just because maybe you feel, okay, coming out to say some things because you are not favored in a particular party and you're moving. And by the time they are moving from one party, they said so many things. Like I was reading in one paper yesterday and they said he alleged that ministerial appointments were being sold. That finance, if you're not financially capable, buoyant, you won't get ministerial appointments. And I don't think Nigerians will believe that. No, because see, looking at what happened in Kaduna State, you know, there were some very, very glaring incidences that people were pointing to, even when the name of El-Rufai came up as a minister nominee. You know, a lot of people frowned at it.
Yes, they did.
And even during the screening couldn't continue because of pending cases. You know, until what happened, and he never got to that. And now he's saying, I am not leaving APC because I was not given a ministerial appointment. That's what he's saying. But Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians have said, well, he is disgruntled because he didn't get the position he was looking for under this administration. I know the kind of person that Baba is. You know, the president is not that kind of politician that do what pleases every politician, but what would be in the interest of Nigerians, especially when a court case is involved. You can't turn the judiciary here and there like that.
It's a puppet show. But at the same time, for me, I really, my own opinion, I do not care whether you cross carpet or not, but you must never burn bridges. It's very important. Like, look at the words, PDP is dead. But PDP gave you that foundation, the platform in which APC, pardon me, gave you that foundation in which you became a minister and, of course, the governor.
But is it possible for a party to be dead and still in power?
Exactly. And the thing is, for me, I do not get it. I think that's why I want to deviate a bit. I think that's why we have the problem with them, Nyesom Wike and Simlaya Fubara, because you do not, for him, he says you should always remember where you're coming from. Do not, bite the finger that fed you and all of that. I think that is what is about to that is what is happening now. But don't burn bridges. Doesn't matter even if you're going to cross carpet or not. You don't know what tomorrow holds or tomorrow lies. So it's very important that we should be careful. And Nigerians shouldn't fight the fight of politicians because they know what they're doing. So you always meet in that meeting.
I pity people who fight the fight of politicians.
Exactly. Do not fight the fight of politicians. Do not say because he has gone there, then of course Lamido is now your enemy. And you said, please just watch. Now we're now wiser. Nigerians are wiser now, so We won't even care about all of these things now. And at the same, this another story that caught my eyes: NDLEA intercepts cocaine, opioid shipments in prayer beads and others. Now, what will these criminals not do? Prayer beads, really?
They don't even fear God and Allah anymore.
Really?
They don't fear God, they don't fear Allah. I don't know. It's unfortunate. These people want to do anything to get their way. But then, don't be surprised that you were caught, because you are trying to make caricature of a prayer, something that is being used for prayers. Putting cocaine in something that is being used for prayers. Prayer beads.
Small they are to just, the person really took its time to actually do that. Another story: police inspector kills self in Ogun. You know that it's so sad. We wonder what must have led to that.
Well, taking your own life. Sometimes these people do these things under influence, and sometimes things happen and you begin to wonder, why did I even do this? Then the worst of all is depression, looking at the economy. See, people's salary, their take homes cannot take them even halfway home. You understand? So some people are depressed. Some people don't know what to do anymore. Some people have situations that they don't know what to do next. But then, suicide is not an option.
No, it's not an option at all.
Suicide is not an option.
Suicide is not an option at all. There's a better way to get help. I mean, talking to friends and family members and individuals out there should please reach out to your loved ones and friends. So many people are going through a lot.
But I don't know. In Nigeria, they criticize more than helping people. When people are going through things, they criticize. Go closer, know what is wrong with this person, instead of criticizing from a distance. Because for every reaction, there is an action. Something must have prompted that. All right. If you talk to someone once, twice, the third time, and you're not seeing changes, you've tried your best, you played your part. But instead of criticizing, when you see people doing certain things, or you see people going through situations, talk to them, counsel them. Just a word from you can change somebody's life forever. And people will not be committing suicide, even though we are not praying that someone should commit suicide. I could remember before my former station, I was doing a program, and I wasn't just a health program, and the way we talk, that's the way we're talking like this. I was talking and all of that, health challenges, you don't need to commit suicide. I was just talking, and someone walked into the station that he already was going to commit suicide.
Really?
A young man was going to commit suicide. The head of the station, I led him to the head of the station. They spoke with him, and he was cancelled. As we speak today, he's a graduate. And one of the things that even contributed to him wanting to commit suicide is because he was so behind, and no help from anywhere. And all these peers, you can't be so with your peers anymore. And he already wrote his notes. He was on his way to jump into the river Benue, then from the bridge and all of that. He said all of this. I was like, no, that's not the best. So sometimes the things you can help people, especially in a challenging economy such as this. You can talk to people. That's why we keep saying on Global Money that there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes,
whatever that is hot will get cold someday. So suicide is not part of it at all.
Is not the answer. And then talking about this resurgence of diphtheria, talking about this issue, it's becoming would I say a threat now?
I think
precautionary measures, awareness needs to be, so people want
more awareness.
More
awareness. Awareness is on. Awareness is on already, but then we need more awareness, especially people in the hinterland. Sometimes these persons don't even have television. They don't have radio. So they just need people to go down to the grassroots and speak to them in that language that they understand. So more orientation needs to be done. I think the National Orientation Agency and of course the actors from the health sector will need to do something.
All right, now I think that's all on the Nigerian Tribune. Just go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed on the issues making round. Next paper will be taken by Ramsey Enoch.
All right, let's quickly look at the Blueprint newspaper this morning, and above the nameplate, future now bright under Tinubu with reduction in fuel and food price. This is coming from Yakase. All right, I know a lot of people will talk about that. Then we'll look at some of these headlines much later. And then this one says NDLEA nabbed 2 behind US-Italy bound cocaine in prayer bids. We already talk about that. Fear God, at least. Fear God. Yes, all right, this one says business news. This is from the world of business. Allegation of fraud, unfounded, false, coming from First Bank. From the world of sport, World Cup qualifiers, Super Eagles full house in Kigali. And how I got access to attend IPU meeting in New York. Natasha Akpoti Oduahan is the one saying that. You know, a lot of people were wondering, how did she even get here? How did she, why crossing border all the way to New York? How did she even get to the IPU meeting in New York? If you want to get the details, pick a copy of the Blueprint newspaper. And that takes us to the big story today. This one says liability by 45 oil companies. That is COIS. Then the story says reps recover 28.7 billion naira from Chorus Energy and Seplat. The writer to that story says 199.3 million naira of 6.8 billion naira excesses charges from banks too. All right. Well, bank charges, I don't want to talk about that now. Don't allow emotion dictate your decisions, Lamido tells El-Rufai. Don't allow your emotions dictate your decisions, Lamido tells El-Rufai. Then 2 riders to that story, and the first rider says, blast ex-governor over call for opposition to join PDP. Go and take up teaching job, APC chieftain tells El-Rufai. My God. All right, that's how hot the polity is. More headlines still coming from the Nigerian, the Blueprint newspaper. Arrest of 2 notorious bandits. Recover weapons in Plateau State. Afubara's crisis caused by bad advisors. This is Wiki talking. We'll look at all of that. Nigeria to capture 50% of 43 billion naira oil, gas, FIDs in 2025. Then finally from here, Ramadan, that's the kicker. NOA reaffirms commitment to national unity, civic responsibility. That's the National Orientation Agency reaffirms commitment to national unity and civic responsibility. These are the headlines from the Blueprint newspaper. One of the headlines that actually caught my fancy right here is future now bright under Tinubu with reduction in fuel and food prices. You know, one of the things, see, Nigerians a lot of Nigerians don't even understand English. Don't come and tell them, well, the economy is now stable, we have a rise, well, inflation has reduced, this, blah, 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 blah. They should see it physical. They should be able to feel it. The impact is what Nigerians are talking about. So if they see it now that there is light at the end of the tunnel because the price of fuel is dropping and food price, Nigerians will be happy about that. A lot of people will give the presidency kudos. Yes, they will, because that's what they are actually thinking about. But when we talk about fuel and food, it's more of the women. I don't know.
It's not. It's for everyone because you eat also.
Yes, but the women are always in the forefront.
Yeah, exactly.
They get the money from the men and they go get to the food. They always come out with a story of the prices.
Both male and female are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
So don't say we're in the forefront. We are all.
Because we are the one that always go to the market.
Don't you eat?
We do eat.
So what's it?
But
you eat and I eat.
Who do they buy in?
The women also, but at the same time, where does the money come out from?
The money comes from the men.
Not just the men, some women also.
Okay, but
so
you ask.
We're all together. No, we're all together in it.
You didn't ask of places where the money comes from. You say where? That is singular.
You'd have just said the men and the women. That's why we're all in this together.
We are all in it
So
together.
don't
But
say
then,
women. Don't make it look as if we like food most.
no. I'm not saying women are foodie. You see, that's the problem. You can see that at the mention of women, she's rising to the occasion and she's having a different perspective to it altogether. What I meant is, if there is a rise in the price of food in the market, people who know earlier, people who know immediately, most immediately, is the women. In fact, if you may not even be in the market, but Iya Basira will call you and say, "Hey, Mama Monica, hey, I just came from the market to that one that we were even talking yesterday is a small thing. Rice now, Mudu is kiniko. You know what it means? So that's exactly what we're talking about."
I agree with you just a tiny bit.
All right, let's get to this other headline. I got access to attend IPU meeting in New York. Natasha Akpoti-Addo is the one saying that. Were you surprised when you saw her? Because when I saw her in that sitting,
I was surprised.
I was like,
I was really surprised, and I went through the story. Of course, she registered online, and then she registered as a senator. If you go through that story, she registered as a senator, and they gave her the pass for her to attend, because according to her, it doesn't stop her from attending such meetings. She attended last year, so automatically, and then that was how she got there. She registered, and then although officially she wasn't nominated to go, but she registered. And she was accepted.
She was accepted, and she spoke. The way they were even clapping in that IPU meeting.
Amazing. What you
she spoke. The way she spoke, they were clapping for her because they said people were telling her to apologize, and she said she will not apologize for what is right. That she's fighting for her right, and they started clapping, and the women clapped more.
What do you expect? She's on the stage. She's a cool guy. She's okay, and she's very strong.
Well, okay, people are strong.
Just trying to. The next paper on the newspaper review is the Vanguard, and it says here UBA ICANN partner to drive innovation in finance accounting, and you can find that on page 9. And here it says River Government Assembly involved words over budget presentation, and you can find that read on 47. And the writer there says Fubara frustrating implementation of Supreme Court judgment, and that is from the Rivers Assembly. Serap sues Akpabio over Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension. Well, we're getting somewhere now, and that you can find on page 10. And the Star story there says OPE extends 1.2 billion naira 10-year scholarship innovative to Obafemi Awolowo University. And you can find that on page 48 of the Vanguard. And it says here on business, global trade war, naira value depreciates amid forex outflows. And the writer there says CBN intervenes with $500 million as naira depreciates to 1,600 naira per dollar. Currency dealers lament dollar scarcity, projects further naira depreciation. And here it says banks not selling dollars to us. BDC's operators seek CBN's intervention. Abduction of Ondo businessman, wife, daughter demand 30 million naira ransom. And previously on the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune, it said it was $20 million, and now it's $30 million on the Vanguard. And it says we won't follow El-Rufai to SDP, Lamido says there. And in the world of sports, it says FIFA 2026. Here it says Amorachi lists 13 pros to Super Eagles showdown. And of course, there's a cartoon story there. And just go out and get yourself a copy. Most of these headlines have been mentioned on the previous papers. But naira values depreciate amid forex outflows. What will you say about that now?
Well, I think the free flow of naira resorted to a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But then Nigerians want naira to appreciate.
Yes,
no matter what. Yes, we know why the free flow happened. But then I think it's high time that we look at what needs to be done. And of course, let's just keep our fingers crossed and see if it's going to result to anything less. But as it is right now, the way things are going in Nigeria, if we want to say Naira should depreciate or appreciate, then we should do the needful. And what's the needful now? I don't know, but I think as it is, Nigerians are glad to see the appreciation, and that's what we are praying for.
All right, now we'll just go to the next paper, which is the Punch newspaper. And are you there, Ramsey?
The Punch newspaper. All right. On the Punch newspaper this morning, we have so much happening. But
let me just go through it.
There is a story that I want you to look at in that Punch. So go through that Punch. Let's see.
Is it okay? All right. It says how the star story there says how subsidy removal tension worsen Nigeria's fuel scarcity, and you can find that fuel marketers decry the closure of stations at border towns. Citizens demand more Nigerian goods. Asake ready to buy me house, says father. Baby mama alleges neglect. Page 4 and 5. Of course, you've been following that Asake story. It's very sad that his father came out and says, Asake, of course, you know he's a very popular musician, a billionaire, or will I say billionaire. And his father comes out and says that he's not taking care of him and all of that. And now
that's not a good one. Told the money. Well, the man may be saying something. It may have its reasons.
It may have its reasons.
And maybe it may not be a total abandonment, but maybe there is something the father is expecting him to do or may have asked for that she didn't do.
He didn't
do it.
But at the same time, I'm not trying to put words in anyone's mouth, but at the same time, maybe the father wasn't there for him at a point. You see, when a child decides to abandon, which is not, I don't see it as right, but what role did the father or mother play in their lives? It's when you play a decent role that can hold you in high esteem. Because as a father, and because some fathers are what they call deadbeat dads. They're not there. They don't train their children.
But no matter what.
Wait, I'm getting somewhere.
Okay.
They don't train their kids. They don't care how they eat. The mother carries all the burden. She's there too. For the man is not there. He's up and down doing whatever he wants. You know, having so many concubines and all that. And so with some women who abandon their children, and some amazing fathers take care of these children. So when these kids grow up, because you felt or she felt the kids were amount to nothing. But now when the child grows up and becomes something, you want something in return. It's not as easy as that. But I always say for everything, whatever must have played out, let it go and just
also that the money is there now.
The money is there, so just let it go.
Yes, the money is there.
And just do what you need to do as a child. It's very important that children.
Your father is your father.
Yes, your father is your father. It doesn't matter what he must have done. Forgive and forget. After all, God forgives us.
Yeah.
We sin countless times, and He's always there to show mercy. So don't think about it. Do what you need to do as a child, because whatever you sow, you will reap. Because your children will do unto you also. So do what you need to do as a child. Please take care of your parents. Very important. It doesn't matter what. I'm sure when he says he's sorry or whatever, move on and accept it and be a good child, so that God can bless you more. It's because the prayers of parents goes a long way, really. Right, Ramsey? All right. Still. I think you want. I think
Asake is ready to buy me houses, says father. Yeah. The father said this on page 4 and 5. He said Asake is ready to buy me house, says father. Baby neglect.
What is going on? What is Asake? Do you have like a pattern? Do you forget who you had there for you?
Baby mama. All right.
So let's see. All right. I think that's all. Let's go to the next paper, The Nation, please.
All right. The Nation's newspaper here said Lamido El-Rufai driven by emotion. This is the second time this is appearing again on the papers. Emotions. Well, if you're being driven by emotions, you wouldn't go far, because these politicians, a lot of them don't, I don't know, but then the ideology of the political party needs to be put in front, not individual, maybe expectations, what you are expecting from the party might be different from the ideology, and the party cannot bend its rules because of one person. So I don't know. Lamido has been hammering on emotions. Maybe you can pick a copy of the Nation's newspaper and go through that story for yourself. We have just few stories on the Nation's newspaper. This one says Akpabio's cooperation and collaboration praises embody democracy. All right. Akpabio's cooperation and collaboration praises embody democracy. All right.
And that picture, look at the picture of Senator Jimoh Ibrahim and of course
Senator Akpabio
there. So we just have to read and get more in tune with the story making rounds, right, Ramsey?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So let's just move to the Guardian newspaper now. And it says, worry, the star story on the Guardian newspaper says, worry for sharp practices, abuse of free trade zone. And you can find that on 6 The Guardian. And the picture here of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says 2027 Wike others affirm support for Tinubu's second term amid growing opposition. And you can find that read on page 6. And a picture story of the FCT minister, no other than Nyesom Wike, and he says Wike's toxic politics threat to your re-election bid, Niger Delta youths tell Tinubu. And you can find that read on page 7. And a picture of civil life for Barra says Assembly queries for Barra's sincerity on budget presentation. And of course, NAFDAC seizes over 100 truckload of unsafe drugs and narcotics. Ogun launches new initiative to curb maternal newborn mortality. And you can find that on page 3. Army attack Eco Disco over power outage. Okay, first it was the Air Force. Now it's the Army. What is what is going on? What is going on? And then here it says NPA's 15% hike pushes birthing charges to $200,000. And of course, that's all the stories making round on the Guardian. Let's quickly rush through the Nigerian News Direct before we wrap it up on the program. All right, let me go to the Nigerian News Direct. It says Rivers Assembly accuses Fubara of sabotaging budget process, denies receiving governor's letter. And the writer says, stop playing to the gallery. Spokesperson demands immediate action on budget to prevent further economic demand. And you can find that on page 46. And it states here Nigeria's FX Direct remittances surges to $180 million. We have built over 4,000 affordable houses in Ogun. Governor Abiodun. Surab files suit against Senate to reinstate Natasha Akpoti. NDLEA intercepts cocaine opioid shipments to US, Saudi Arabia, Italy, Poland. And we've been reading those stories and other newspaper stories there. Removing Tinubu should serve national interest, not personal vendettas. Sule Lamido blasts El-Rufai. And you can find that read on page 46. And of course, the story of NAFDAC seizing over 1 trillion naira worth of substandard banned drugs in Lagos, Abia. And those are the stories making round on the Nigerian News Direct. Please go out and get yourself a copy. And last but not the least is the Daily Trust. And it says here, we've read the story about why Niger is facing deep fuel crisis, refinery chief smuggling surges along border communities. IGP launches Zulum's distribution of 110 patrol vans, 500 motorcycles, 280 houses to police and others. Zulum doing wonders there. And basically, that is all on the Daily Trust. Please go out and get yourself a copy of all of these papers we've mentioned. And of course, these are issues, very interesting political issues making round, right, Ramsey?
Yes, these are political issues that you deserve to know, and you're supposed to know it. So just pick a copy of any of these national dailies and go through them if any of these stories interest you. It's time for us to go on a quick break and make way for the AM news at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, after the AM news, we'll return, and the first conversation will be coming on your way. Stay with us. We'll return after this break.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to hear news on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS device to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has reiterated the federal government's unwavering commitment to fostering peace, stability, and economic development in Plateau State and across the country. Speaking during the condolence visit to Sheikh Yahya Jingiri, the national chairman of the Council of Ulama Jama'atu Islatu Biden Wakamatis Sunan, Shettima conveyed President Bola Tinubu's deep sympathies over the passing of Sheikh Saidu Jingiri, a key religious leader. Shettima underscored the administration's dedication to national unity, highlighting Plateau's strategic role in Nigerian socio-economic landscape. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Dr. Femi Osikwe on winning the Cyber Personality of the Year award at the 2025 Cybersecurity Awards in the United Kingdom. Dr. Osikwe is the chairman of the Lagos State Cybersecurity Advisory Board and the first African to win in the Cybersecurity Awards category. A statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga says President Tinubu's celebration of Dr. Osikwe's achievements underscores his immense contributions to cybersecurity and his effort to evolve new horizons in the field. The Owo community in Abeokuta North local government of Ogun State has protested what it described as an unfair allocation of electoral ward despite a significant population and high voter registration figures. Speaking on behalf of the community under the aegis of the concerned apex citizens of Owo, in a statement, Pastor Shola Makinde urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to create at least 3 additional wards to supplement the existing 3, ensuring fair political representation and more effective governance. Makinde pointed out that while other communities in the local government such as Oke-Ona, Baguru and Oke-Ogun have between 4 and 5 wards, or despite having 42,264 registered voters, is left with only 3 wards and 78 polling units. Officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted cocaine concealed in prayer beads and locally made shoes. The agency disclosed that the suspects were trying to transport the illicit substance to the Holy Land. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, shared pictures of the seized contraband. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDN, says 1,319 deaths have been recorded in the country's ongoing diphtheria outbreak. The NCDC said this in its latest situation report from the National Diphtheria Emergency Operations Center, published by its official website. Diphtheria is a serious bacterial infection caused by Circumbacterium diphtheria. Over now to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has uncovered a fraudulent syndicate impersonating the agency to scam foreign companies using fake documents. The agency announced the discovery in a statement by Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, its Director General, following a petition from Thani Alamin Trading Group, Abu Dhabi, UAE, which fell victim to the scam. It was revealed that the syndicate is being led by one Ikoro Mag Ifendu, who was arrested on February 7, 2025 in Abia State for allegedly defrauding foreign firms by posing as a NAFDAC official. You are watching the live broadcast of AM News. When AM News returns, Saudi bans all imports from Kenya after hosting civil war rivals. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, and this is the AM News. In Business Now, Nigerian's House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee on says it has recovered 28.7 billion naira from 2 oil companies indebted to the country's federation account. The spokesperson of the Green Chamber, Akin Rotimi, disclosed this in a statement, noting that the recovery is part of the total $1.7 trillion debt owed by 45 oil companies to the Nigerian government. National Airline of Kenya, Kenya Airways, says it is open to partnering with Nigerian Airlines and stressed that it will provide more travel options for passengers within Nigeria and beyond. The airline also said its frequent flyers are from Nigeria, noting that increasing its flight frequency to Lagos from 7 to 10 in 2024 resulted in 21% capacity increase. Now, despite an improved supply of foreign exchange, Nigerians' fulfillment of letter of credit payments culminated by 33.28% in 12 months of 2024 compared to the same period in the previous year. This is according to the international payments data provided by the Central Bank of Nigeria on its website. The amount dropped by $435 million from $1.31 billion total letter of credit payments made via official channels in 2023 to $873.1 million in 2024. The Kaduna State government has launched an electric vehicle initiative with affordable and sustainable transportation. The program, which includes a tricycle and an electronic loan scheme, was inaugurated by Governor Ubasani at Murtala Square, Kaduna. With the initiative, the state employees will be able to acquire tricycles and electronic motorcycles to subsidize loans with repayments deducted from their salaries. SpaceX founder Elon Musk says its massive Starship rocket will leave for Mars at the end of 2026 with Tesla humanoid robot Optimus on board, noting that human landings could follow as early as 2029. Musk, who is also the CEO of Tesla, brought out the company's Optimus robot at an event last year. He said the dancing robot would one day be able to do friendship and expected retail for $20,000 to $30,000. And on the foreign scene now, Sudan has suspended oil imports from Kenya in protest after the paramilitary Rapid Response Support RSP, who are fighting the army in a 2-year civil war, were hosted in Nairobi. Upon the RSF and its allies, political and armed groups signed a founding chapter in Kenya expressing the intention to form a parallel government in Sudan. Sudan's military government said the import ban was to preserve the country's sovereignty and protect its national security. At least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes tore through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. In Kansas, a dust storm caused a crash with more than 50 vehicles, killing at least 8 people. A state of emergency has been declared in several states, including Arkansas, Georgia, and Oklahoma, where more than 100 wildfires are raging. In a different development, the first U.S. strike against Yemen's Houthis since Donald Trump took office killed 31 people, the rebels said, with the U.S. president warning of dire consequences of the Iran-backed group if it does not stop attacking shipping. The Houthis, who have attacked Israel and Red Sea shipping throughout the Gaza war, said children were among those killed. Houthi Health Ministry spokesperson Anas al-Basri said attacks on Sunnah as well as area in Sadat, Baliyad, and Ruder killed at least 31 people and wounded 101, most of whom were children and women. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says Washington had no authority to dictate its foreign policy after U.S. President Donald Trump urged Tehran to end support for Yemen's Houthi forces. Trump said Washington had launched decisive and powerful military action to end the threat posed to Red Sea shipping by Yemen's Houthi rebels and demanded Tehran's support must end immediately. The rebels, who have controlled much of Yemen for more than a decade, are part of the Axis of Resistance, a pro-Iran group essentially opposed to Israel and United States. In sports now, organizers of Governor's Para Swimming Classic have para swimmers who will benefit from a 5-day scientific training and analysis program capable of inspiring Nigerians to greater heights. This was stated by convener Vice President Para Swimming Kafo at a Media Palace stage ahead of the program scheduled for between March 17th and 22nd, 2025 at the National Stadium in Lagos. Speaking at the idea behind the program, Bose Kofo noted the training is organized to help equip swimmers significantly in order to give their best country in a major tournament. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has been named Grand Patron for the 2025 African Women's Volleyball Championship, scheduled for April this year. She declared that the nation has a space for women in all spheres, noting that they can occupy that space with their continued hard work and dedication. The statement by her media, Koye, said the First Lady that this while speaking during the visit by the management team of the Nigerian Customs Service and the National Sports Commission led by the Comptroller General of the Service, Adewale Adeni, at their house in Abuja. Heavyweight boxing champion Oskander York has rated Anthony Joshua as a better boxer than Daniel Dubras, despite Joshua's recent 5th-round knockout loss to the latter. The undisputed Heavyweight Championship, who has beaten both British fighters in his career, shared his assessments in a recent interview when asked to compare the two. The 37-year-old elaborated on his point in a separate interview, saying, "You cannot compare both individuals." And over now to our Super Eagles head coach Eric Cherry and his backroom staff are scheduled to arrive in Kigali today as preparations begin for crucial 2026 World Cup qualifying match against Rwanda. On Tuesday, the France-born coach trimmed the initial 39-man squad to 23, with the invited players expected to start arriving. Preparations will officially kick off today, Monday, when most of the squad is expected to be in camp, with the match against Rwanda set for Friday, March 21st at Amahoro Stadium in Kigali. Nigeria's Flamingos have secured a comfortable 5-1 aggregate victory over South Africans Botswana with a 2-0 win in the second leg of their FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying fixture in Ekenromi on Saturday. Head of coach Nigeria's Women's Under-17 national team Bankole Oluwokere had earlier emphasized the importance of maintaining focus despite their first leg advantage. And now we end AM News with a recap of some of our big stories again. Brought to you, the Nigerian Vice President Kashim Shettima has reiterated the federal government's unwavering commitment to foster peace, stability, and economic development in Plateau State and across the country. In business, we brought to you the Nigerian House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee says it has recovered 28.7 billion naira from the 2 oil companies indebted to the country's federation account. And on the foreign scene, Sudan has suspended all imports from Kenya in protest against the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSP, who are fighting the army in a 2-year civil war, were hosted in Nairobi. And finally, in sports, we brought to you the Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, have been named Grand Patron for the 2025 African Women's Volleyball Championship scheduled for April this year. And that's it on Global TV AM News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You know, you can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS device to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Global Morning continues shortly. Stay tuned.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into variety
on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that break. How was the AM News? I believe you got value, and that's exactly what we do. Now to the first conversation on Global Morning today, as we talk about something very important. What we want to talk about today is the fact that some persons are saying APC doesn't have a position. Some people are so worried. Some Nigerians are worried about the fact that there is fight in the different political parties that would have given the ruling party a run for their money, standing as opposition. But right now, some persons are saying, with the kind of reflection and the visitation and the discussions that we are having in the polity right now, it is glaring that the opposition is beginning to take shape. Today we want to look at opposition politics, political rivals scheme ahead of 2027, and a political analyst and of course a development expert will be joining us on the conversation today. Dr. Aliu Ilyas is our guest this morning, and it's good to have you join us on the conversation this morning, Doctor.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, we want to talk about opposition politics. You know, a lot have been happening. At a point, Nigerians were saying, well, we don't have opposition party, and a lot of people were confused about what will happen in 2027. But with the recent development, some persons are the defection of El-Rufai to SDP and the meetings that they've been having with Atiku, Peter Obi, and the rest. There have been a lot of meetings going on. Some persons are saying it's like the oppositions are waking up right now ahead of 2027. What's your school of thoughts?
Right. For me, I think it's quite worrisome for us not to have a robust opposition. Now, when we say robust opposition can actually challenge the present government. You agree with me that it's quite a wrong process. When you have a weak opposition, if APC were weak, they would have taken over from PDP. And it also has to do with the style of the national, the INEC, I should say. You know, sometimes you have 18 political parties as it were now, and it's only 4 or 5 that's actually active. Look at America, they do have other political parties, but you could see that it's Democrat and Republican, and it's always a tussle for them. So I think we should start the politics of ideology, not only political parties. Now, going to the present coming together of some political party, I can tell you, I don't know if I've made mention of it on this beautiful media platform. I said if oppositions like Atiku, El-Rufai join them now, Peter Obi and Kwankwaso come together, they will give APC a run for their money. And you agree with me that now that those 3 people are coming together, because we have not seen the hands of Kwankwaso so far. However, I think it's a good one, and before you can really fight and fight hard, you must come together 2 years before the election. If you don't come together 2 years before the election, you will find it difficult to actually challenge the opposition. And I can tell you, this present APC, they are so strong that they are in every political party and they're likely to weaken them. You have seen a lot of allegations from PDP that is APC that is actually weakening them. And it's crystal clear that you have people like Nyesom Wike, who is neither in APC fully nor in PDP fully. So such people are actually people that can give opposition problem, and that is the state of things. I think it's a good one if you have a robust opposition. But the question is that, would they agree for themselves? Would the serious contestants agree not to contest in this time around? That is the question that is begging for an answer.
All right, good morning, Mr. Aliu. I want to ask a question. What do you think are the key factors that have led to this decision to return to the drawing board?
Well, I think it's a good one. Without you returning to the drawing board, it's difficult to actually challenge opposition. Remember that once you're an incumbent have a lot of power. They have the political power, they have financial power, they have appointment power. So if you don't have a robust opposition, it will be pretty difficult. And you know that since we returned to the Fourth Republic, we have only seen situation where APC take over from PDP, who will now take over from APC. That is the question that is begging for an answer. We were thinking, as an economist, I was thinking it would be economic that will speak. But Nigeria, have we arrived up to that level that we now say because of our economic factor, we want to take out a particular political party? I'm not sure we have got to that level because our political party or our political system has not gone to that level that we have to check our purchasing power, check our state of our health. But in here, we look at religion and we look at ethnic issues, and that's why it's pretty difficult. So for me, I think from the look of things, it's a tug of war for any opposition coming together. One, they must have consensus that they will come together. Two, they must have consensus of candidates. Three, they must have consensus of who hold what before they can actually come together. Remember, APC actually came together. They came together from different oppositions. Okay. We have CPC, we have AD, we have AMPP, among other political parties. So there must be that intention to actually let go of people's position to form a different alliance.
All right, now let's look at how would this shift, in strategy impact the opposition party's chances of winning the next election?
Right. Well, the shift is that as opposition rather, they'll be praying for a bad performance of APC. You recall the governor of Bauchi said APC is already campaigning for opposition already. And he said that on the fact that they are giving bad economic policies, people are suffering. That is a campaign on its own. So it depends on what they want to capitalize on. But the best to capitalize on is on the state of economy. If you look at advanced politics, you see them usually having an ideology. Where we look at Trump, for instance, before Trump even arrived, Trump was telling different stories. One, he was talking about creating American first. Two, he was saying that there is only two gender. Three, he was talking about trade war. And you see when he even entered, he started implementing it. But can we actually go through that ideology in Nigeria for now, where we have politics of religion and politics of ethnicity?
I want to deviate a little bit. Let us talk a bit about El-Rufai and this Lamido saga. El-Rufai going to SDP, and of course he has always been an APC member. Now, looking at it critically, what do you think this is all about, and where do you think this will lead to at the long run? Because according to Lamido, APC has always been the platform that actually made him minister of the Federal Capital Territory and, of course, governor of Kaduna State. And now this shift, and he's saying that, in his own words, the party that he's coming out from is dead. What do you make about all of this?
Right. Well, the fact remains that it's a political game, and they all have to look at where actually benefit them. They must have to put in their calculation ahead. But for El-Rufai, for me, APC threw away a necessary enemy. That's what I think about El-Rufai. And why do I see the necessary enemy? He's a formidable person, as an individual that can fight, as an individual that actually decided to say presidency must shift to the south. We also see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu going to him in his states and he canvassed for them. So now that he's out of it, they did not consider him very well. He's going out, and I can tell you, they should not undermine his capacity. He's a researcher, and he has a lot of things he can even say to convince people. Now, for Lamido, Lamido have always found his way to power, always, since he's in PDP. And truly, PDP is becoming weaker day by day. You see today trouble. In fact, the current one is trouble of the secretary. The second one is that leadership is having issues. Up to now, they still have acting chairman. They've not zoned it to the necessary? Is it not central that's supposed to have it? So a lot of issues. So for me, PDP actually have their own issue. But for me, I still think PDP have much more structure to fight more compared to other political parties. But we can also say that if a party like APC come together and actually fight very, very hard. So for me, I think they have their strategic reason for moving. And I will agree with them. It's a good move for them because El-Rufai move, you could see that even the political, APC are actually feeling it and they are responding to him every now and then.
Okay, now I want to put you on the spot. I hope you don't mind. Now, for El-Rufai coming from APC, that political, he was the ruling party at a point. It is the ruling party, the APC, and now going to SDP. Do you think is the right choice at this time? I'm just going to put you on the spot. Your own opinion from where he's coming from, going to SDP now.
I think it's the right choice for El-Rufai because it will be more heard in that position. And you know, politics is about your voice. Sometimes it's not even about you winning. And I can assure you, because El-Rufai moved to SDP, next coming election, SDP may have a governor, may have a state that they will win. That's what you should look at. You know, his state, he has structure in his state, and you know that he had the fallout with his present governor. And I can tell you that because he emerged, we may also have people winning senatorial seats, winning other seats. So for me, it gives El-Rufai more voice, and he will become automatic leader in that political party. So sometimes for you to have the leadership and have the voice. So for me, it's not a bad move at all.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc. Talking about El-Rufai now. You know what happened? Let me take you back memory lane a little bit to 2023 when Peter Obi joined the Labour Party. A lot of people never knew about Labour Party. The same thing is happening now. A big gun from the APC is the campaign to SDP. Do you foresee the kind of popularity LP had in 2023 for SDP in 2027, having the likes of El-Rufai in SDP?
Right. What I would say is that if you look at the trajectory of the president candidate of Labour Party, person of Peter Obi, I can tell you, Peter Obi bring about the tsunami. It's not about Labour Party. Labour Party has been there from time, but they will not bite until Peter Obi came around and put his effort. So I can see another kind of thing to happen if the same Peter Obi emerged the presidential candidate of SDP, and he has the like of Kwankwaso or even El-Rufai as vice president. It becomes a serious issue. So they can actually move like that. Remember, that's how President Buhari also had his own tsunami when he became a APC presidential candidate. So we don't undermine that. And depends on the pulse of Nigeria. If they can actually tell us what we actually want to hear, I think people can actually follow them. Remember, even in Lagos, Rose Bible actually give Sanwo-Olu serious challenges. So I think it's possible. It depends on how they start on time and how what they are saying is resonating with Nigerians.
Continue, ma.
All right, with all of this said now, with El-Rufai and the popularity you said that it might bring, now looking at all of this critically, now what are the expectations in all of this when it comes to 2027 election for the opposition's party with this new strategy? And of course, how do you think it will be measured looking at all of this that are playing out at the moment?
Well, I think with coming together of them is a blessing to Nigerians because it will make APC to think more and to want to serve Nigeria as is expected. You know, when you have a robust opposition, it makes the ruling party to be wary that if you do this is what happened. And what I want the opposition party to do is to look at all the policy of APC ongoing and give alternatives. When you give alternatives to what is going on, Nigerians will check, okay, this alternative, are they good one? Are they what we can actually bank on? And if that actually works, it's a good. So I want them to bring a formidable alternative, and Nigerians will to their core.
Okay. Now, what are the potential consequences, when coming together, and of this decision for the current political landscape, if there are any?
Yes, there is consequence, because up to now, people that come from CPC are still thinking we have been under given opportunity. They are giving them less opportunity. You recall that under APC, you see the way Bukola Saraki find his way to become Senate president. Because people that come from people that come from PDP are not well given opportunity. It's still happening now you can see now that Tinubu is in power, people that come from AD, they're actually enjoying more, while people from CPC are also complaining. So if they also have an opposition party, they also have their own consequences. And the consequence is that they must make sure that they consider every person.
Welcome back from that little break. But then we are talking about oppositions here. As it is right now, remember the PDP is also having their own problem. Is there any possibility of maybe PDP and Labour Party joining SDP? Before now it was the speculation was PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP, the Kwankwaso Party. But now SDP is coming in. Do you see the possibility of these four parties coming together? And if they do, how will it be? Because there is always going to be a problem of who to field. There are some people speculating that the likes of Atiku should be kingmakers at this point and not wanting to be kings themselves. Don't you think that all these disparities may result to some form of problems if there is anything like coalition?
At this point in time, I think former Vice President of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, at this point in time should become the kingmakers. All his mates went and formed their own party, and we have seen what has happened. If you look at Kwankwaso, look at all of them have gone to other parties to really make meaning. So, for me, I think Atiku should actually allow others. But my problem here is PDP. I don't think PDP will allow those oppositions. PDP can accommodate opposition, but I don't think PDP can go out to join opposition. So that's the major thing I'm seeing now. So it may lead to change of name, but PDP can absorb them. Presently, PDP have a lot of governors, so you can't tell PDP to just abandon those ones and go and join SDP or join NNPP or Labour Party, right? So, but PDP can absorb them. What those people should canvass for is for PDP to absorb them and PDP change their name. I mean, that's what will actually work. Why the Syria contestant like Atiku will give up and say, let me support a particular candidate. After all, Obi was his vice presidential candidate, so he can say, Obi, this is your time, because Obi seems to have much opportunity compared to other candidates.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, but looking at all of this, I'm just thinking with all this shift and coming together of various parties, how would they communicate this to the public? Because everyone has their own, the person in which they are supporting. Before we have people behind El-Rufai, we have various people behind Atiku, Peter Obi, and all of that. Well, how would they communicate this solely, softly to the public? For the public to understand that this is for the greater good.
So it is very, very easy. It is just for Atiku to communicate with the followers that today I decide to support so person, and I want all my followers to actually support. It's political communication. The thing is that it must come from him. He can do a press conference. It's very, very easy. It's politics. He can do a press conference and said, I've been contested severally. I've tried to support so person. So it's just as simple as, or I have formed an alliance with a particular people. So going to go and marry whoever emerge, I would definitely support the person.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still particular about the Labour Party because of what happened in 2023. The visit of Peter Obi to Bauchi State to see the governor of Bauchi State has actually brought up a lot of speculations, and the statement made by the Bauchi State governor that he was going to support Peter Obi in 2027 is another thing. Then there is also this speculation that Peter Obi might be leaving Labour Party. Do you see that as a wise idea? And the statement coming from the governor of Bauchi State, do you think that will be possible, or until he comes to Labour Party probably?
Right. I think the solution is this. Solutions will start from PDP, because if you look at Obi was in PDP before. So now let's consider Obi and Atiku vote in the last election. If it goes for two of them in one party, you know that they will have emerged the winner. So for me, I think a good move would be for Obi to move to PDP, honestly. Because if Obi moves to PDP and PDP agree with him wholeheartedly, and they made him their presidential candidate, that would be a good one. Why PDP will seek alliance with SDP and other opposition parties. I think that will make a whole lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for me.
All right. Our time is fast spent, but then looking as it is right now, campaign for 2027 has started in some parts of the country, whether directly or indirectly. Don't you see? Because as it is right now, a lot of Nigerians are saying, please, we want more attention. All right, we want more attention on us than preparation for 2027, as the case may be. One of the things that Nigerians are so particular about is who will give APC a run for their money. Then El-Rufai's statement to say, well, becoming a minister in Nigeria under the Tinubu administration, finance is involved. And that statement came, and he also said APC is dead. Do you see that as a political statement, and you want to make sense out of it?
Right. I think over time there's some speculation. You recall that there was a vote of confidence passed on by Gbajabiamila at a point, because most of those things have been mentioned with all the other. So I think if you look at politics in Nigeria, it may not be directly to Tinubu or Tinubu camps, but somebody somewhere who recommended must have demand for money. So it's quite possible. We only want to urge El-Rufai to go beyond that statement and give us some facts. Give us some facts and figures that will say that yes, what he said is actually a correct statement. And I can tell you, El-Rufai, I know that could be some of his weapons that is good that I want to use against the current ruling party. So I see some level of sense in what he said, but we want him to prove it further that yes, this particular political party collected money.
Okay, before I let you go, is El-Rufai going to be missed in APC? Because the presidency have said his defection is of no effect, that there is no issue. But they are worried about other persons who are leaving.
I think unless they want to just cover the truth, for Kaduna State, I can tell you they missed El-Rufai as a PC person. I recall that El-Rufai, according to him, is being prepared for Minister of Power. So imagine if El-Rufai is Minister of Power from his antecedents, I think he would have made a lot of meaning, Jeremy. And if he's in APC now, he must have also contributed his quota. I must tell you, it's a necessary evil that wouldn't have been bad for APC to have within their fold.
All right. Many thanks for joining us on the conversation this morning. Our time is up. Thank you very much, Dr. Aliu Elias, for joining us on this conversation.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Morning once again. All right, this is the size of the first conversation. Well, this is politics we're talking about here. This deflection will keep happening. Expect many more. Expect many more.
Expect many more. I like when you say that, because a lot of individuals, politicians want to prove and make their point well known. So of course, like you said, let us expect many more. In fact, let's not be surprised if of course you mentioned Peter Obi wanting to leave LP Labour Party, but let's just see, because of course Peter Obi made that particular party very popular.
Yeah, he is.
So with Peter Obi defecting to I want to know which party. I'm curious to know.
He might want to go back to PDP. He left PDP. He might want to. And there is no fast rule that say you can't return to any party you left. He may want to return to PDP to join force together if they will give him the ticket, probably. But we're just speculating. He has not said he's going to leave. But with the misunderstanding and the unrest in the Labour Party, anything is possible. And this is El-Rufai leaving APC. Who is going to be the next person to leave?
Well, that's a question mark. We'll just have to.
That's a question mark.
We'll just have to sit back and wait. But at this point, we're going to go to the next discuss of the day. Do not go anywhere. It's Global Morning on Global Television. Stay tuned.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that break. It is still Global Television, and of course on Global Morning today, we've had so much going down. The politics is so hot right now as we speak. And as a matter of fact, you can't say, beginning from River State to other parts of the country, is so much happening. The interference of the judiciary in electoral matters has been, it's a thing of worry because some Nigerians are saying, when will the people start getting the dividends of democracy when they don't even get into office on time, probably because the case is in court, or maybe a court verdict, judgment that is not going down with the people, and this brings unrest and it hampers our governance. Today we want to look at judicial intervention and its implication for effective governance. Judicial intervention. Sometimes the judiciary will have no choice than to intervene, especially when matters get to their table. They'll follow it logically, following the constitution to make sure they get things right. And that has affected governance in different ways. Joining me on the conversation today is a legal practitioner and of course a human rights activist. He is also a notary public. I have Barrister Alex Ogbo right here this morning. It's good to have you join us on the conversation this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here, especially an issue of this nature.
Yes, because it's becoming worrisome. Nigerians keep asking questions every day because after 2023 election, we had the slogan, you can go to courts. The judiciary has played more roles in bringing people into public offices, especially politicians, than the electorates themselves. I'm just wondering which state in Nigeria that we've not had the issue of taking an electoral matter to court, either from the local government council, even from the councillors, down to the presidency. So as it is right now, judicial interventions and its implication for effective governance. Let's begin from the intervention of the judiciary in electoral matters. What's your take about it?
You know, actually, the judiciary, first of all, is very important to the society, playing the role it plays in interplay of human relationships, experience conflicts, crises, and so on and so forth. And there's always need for a place where these things should be looked into dispassionately. And that's the role that the judiciary plays. That's the role that the office and the position the judiciary occupies in the rank of leadership in the society. And as long as human beings have misunderstandings, the judiciary will have a job to do. But our worry is to what extent should judicial interventions come in? For instance, the Supreme Court is a court of justice, a court of law, is also a court of public opinion, and it always puts into consideration issues that may hamper progress and peace of the society. That's why in Nigeria, you will find out that there have never been any presidential election that the Supreme Court upturned. You see, that is basically on issue of public opinion. You don't want to upturn the apple carts and cause a crisis and all, because in the reasons of it, nobody can say that all presidential elections were in order. No, they were not. But the Supreme Court has been careful to avoid going to, upturn that public opinion and the issues of law as well. Now, but there are other aspects, and I want to draw our attention to what happened in the 80s from the judgments coming from the Supreme Court, to compare it with what is going on now, it's good to make that comparative analysis. In the 80s and even during the military, the Supreme Court was indeed a strong force to reckon with for the good of this country. We saw judicial interventions that put the excesses of the executive and the dictatorship of the military to check. We can remember the case of Ojukwu and Lagos State government, or Lagos State against Ojukwu, all right? Where you see the Supreme Court bringing up the issue of executive recklessness, that the executive should not be allowed to do things anyhow. They should follow processes and procedures, unlike what they did in throwing Ojukwu into the street, whereas he was the rightful owner and occupier of what he had. The Supreme Court came to the rescue, and that helped to douse tension all over the country over the years. That helped to solve a lot of things. There are so many. The Supreme Court also, there are this case of Ukeje and Ukeje, especially in the southeast and some other parts of this country, where by custom women are not allowed to inherit property. But in Ukeje's case, the Supreme Court insisted a female is a child and has rights in the Constitution to own property. That has solved a lot. Osuke's system. All right? The court has come out vehemently to reject that kind of practice. These are things that heal the society. We know the case of Amechi, of Rivers State. It was the Supreme Court that came to the rescue because of what happened unjustly. But certain recent decisions, compared to some of these, makes one to really think that honestly there's need for the present crop to sit up. There's need. We can't allow the society to just degenerate. To the extent that some people now are saying that Nigeria need a court higher than Supreme Court. Because certain decisions the Supreme Court has taken has made a mess of the respect that Supreme Court in Nigeria used to have. So that we need a court higher than the Supreme Court to look into most of these things that are done that are causing unnecessary conflict, unlike what we used to know the Supreme Court for.
All right, let me take you, because we're talking about governance here, the implication of judicial interventions in governance. And let's get to Rivers State a little bit, the Fubara case and the State Assembly. As it is right now, budget needs to be resubmitted based on the judgment from the Supreme Court. But then, there are some people who are disgruntled. There are some people who are not satisfied. I'm actually bringing this in now because we talked about the fact that the Supreme Court is a court of public opinion.
Yes.
Now, there have been a lot going on in Rivers State after that judgment. The youths are rising. There is a lot of triggers, a lot of threats coming from the youths. If this is not done, this will be done. And there was a time that they even advised people who are not from Rivers State to vacate Rivers State and all of that. What can you say about what is happening in Rivers State in connection with the Supreme Court judgment as a legal practitioner now?
Yes. It is even the case of that Rivers that made those who are saying that we need a court higher than Supreme Court to be put in place in this country. It's even the case of that Rivers with some others. Like what happened in the case of what was the man, the former deputy speaker of the Federal House of Reps in Imo State, what threw Hedia out and brought Uzodinma in. That is a decision that this country will keep suffering the damaging effect of that kind of judgment of the Supreme Court. And then this case of Rivers State, like I compared, in the 80s and so on, decisions of the Supreme Court had balancing effect in the years gone by. Balancing effect, dousing tensions. Unlike now, Because what we are noticing now is a decision that suggests that the Supreme Court, like some people say, is conquered by the executive. And those who are close to power can manipulate things. Some decisions currently go towards that. And it's most unhealthy. It's most unhealthy. The Supreme Court should be impartial, it should be neutral, it should be corrective, and should be able to create stability, serious stability in the system. So these are the things that this experience of Rivers State is bringing up. You know, we need radical reorientation in what happens in the judiciary, especially the Supreme Court. Radical reorientation. We need that. The Rivers State crisis, we don't know how it will end. We don't know how it will end. But it is most unfortunate. Let me say, you see, when this Wike was going on Rivers State, he chased Amaechi out of that state. His predecessor. He chased him out, and people even supported Wike, were talking of abuses that Amaechi did and all that. But when he finished his 8 years tenure, Wike is now doing what is unprintable, unheard of. You have finished your 8 years tenure. The next governor, you will not allow him to breathe, whereas your eye could not sit on your predecessor when you were governor, and you're a minister of the Federal Republic, and you want to be governor of your state all at the same time. It's more shameful. The future will not be kind with him at all. I'm talking about this in Wike.
But as it is right now, the judgment is, so far it's not all about Wilson Wike right now. The judgment is coming from the Supreme Court. Everything that is happening there now, even though in a recent broadcast he has made some statements, he has said some things even on the papers, he has said some things about Fubara and all of that. But as it is right now, I think we are more concerned about the people and not even the individual, as the case may be, because the people need good governance. So what do you think is proper? I think there is another date set for the summation of the budget right now, and the first one, we don't know what happened, a lot of drama ensue. Fubara is trying to tread a path right now, all right? As at yesterday, not just yesterday, I saw a video where Asari was making some statements directly to the Minister of FCT. Yeah. A lot of people are looking at the Minister of FCT, but this judgment is coming from the court right now. So let's forget about the Minister of FCT now and talk about what needs to be done to get these things, this mistake corrected, because of the people, because of governance, because of the dividends of democracy.
Yeah, why people are talking about the Minister of FCT is the author and finisher of the crisis in Rivers State now, including the Supreme Court issue. He's the author, he's the finisher. That is that. There's nothing, you can't compromise it. Wike is the author and finisher of Rivers State crisis, including what happened at the Supreme Court. He's the author and finisher. But be that as it may, the way the elders in Rivers State have been standing with the governor, President Fubara, and the youths, they need to stand strong and firm, because it's the soul of Rivers State that is at stake. It's the soul of Rivers State, not the selfishness and greed, unbridled greed of an individual. The soul of Rivers State that will outlive Wike and every other person. So the elders, the youth should stand firm and fight for the soul of the state. Yes. You see, those who generated this conflict must pay dearly for it. That is the truth. There will definitely be crisis in Rivers State, but the dimension is what we are praying should be curtailed. Because that judgment has thrown Rivers into an unbridled confusion.
We heard there was a protest by some persons a few days ago.
There was, and there'll be more of that will still come. But the bottom line of it is that as the elders have been standing behind their present governor, the youths should do the same and stand strictly firm to that. Once that is done, there are many ways they can checkmate the excesses of these hawks on issues of power and issues of public patrimony of Rivers State. The people own the state, not an individual. And this is the time that the owners of the state should rise up. This is the time, more than any other. This is the time. And that's the best way you can rescue such a situation. You see, individuals should not be allowed to have their way again in this country. Like, there's always this request, we need strong institutions, not strong individuals. Yes, countries where people are running to, include all the politicians, they run to countries where there are strong institutions. All of them are going there. Medical tourism, for the holiday, for their studies, their family, everything. Countries where there are strong institutions. But they come here and insist on imposing on us strong individuals who their selfish greed will destroy the whole society. It should not be allowed to hold sway.
All right, it should not be allowed to hold sway because it's all about the people. We're going on a quick break. When we return from this break, we'll look at interventions of the judiciary in matters of governance and its impact, not in Rivers State this time, but in other parts of Nigeria. We are giving it a holistic approach, and that will be after this break. Watching back from that break, still the discussion on the way. Judicial interventions in the matter of governance. After 2023, the slogan, "You can go to court," came to stay. And we've had that severally. Now let's go to, look at it generally now. What would you have to say about taking electoral matters to court? Because we're practicing democracy, and democracy, they said, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Because some Nigerians are feeling like the issue of going to court is making their power weak, because they feel, well, we've voted for who we want, but at the end of the day, the court decides who wins the election based on evidences. Does this have any impact on governance?
Matter of taking the electoral matters to court will still continue in the near future in Nigeria, because in politics, Nigerians are too manipulative. Vote buying, all right? Vote buying, manipulation of the electoral body, and so on and so forth. There's no fairness in the electoral system in Nigeria presently. There's no fairness. There's no fairness. From my knowledge, there's no fairness. And not to talk of the politicians that behave like mad horses. There's no fairness. And as long as this milieu of madness exists in electoral matters, cases will still go to court. But the court can wake up and help to stem the tide of how the country is drifting by calling a spade, by really standing by its oath of office, dispensing justice without fear of favor, without ill will, no matter whose ox is God. And when such is done, the society will see it. It is visible. You know, substantial justice is tangible. You can feel it. When there is error in judgment, you know it. So the judiciary can come to the rescue of the country. But for elections, Nigerians are too rugged and too rough in what they do. And because of that, cases will keep going to court. In fact, if you phase out the courts, the country will burn. It's just like with the deficiency of the Nigerian police. But you see, if you close down all police stations for one day, people will run out of this country. You know, issues will always arise, but there should be an unbiased umpire. People should run to be able to calm fuel downs. The judiciary is very important because it's a standby measure where agreed people will go when tempers are calmed down to ventilate their views and seek proper justice. If there is no such thing, there's what we call pantry justice, where anybody will descend on anybody, whoever you are stronger than you, descend on and kill. And that will be the worst. All right? So judiciary is extremely important. But Nigerian judiciary should develop the necessary nerves. I was reading a story about when Justice Udoma was a judge of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. His judgments were being used in Oxford, in Cambridge, to train lawyers because of the insightful nature, the balanced nature. They study his judgments so critically. And judges of those nature, like Oputa and all. But you can't boast of the ones we have here now with what is going on. That is the truth. Because then, you know, Kardashian, all those kind of people, you know, they are human beings. And these are people that made up their mind that society must go well. We need that kind of orientation of people at the bench. There are people like that. There are people like that. But it appears that a good number now are on a side one we don't know how to describe. So there's no way, you can't keep the judiciary away from electoral matters because the conduct of Nigerian towards the election is too rude, is too crude, is too awkward. All right? If Nigerians today start having regard for decency, you can vote with your phone at the comfort of your home. But if you try it here, they will not allow that your ballot to count. They will not record it. Look at what happens in the US, where people will vote ahead of time. They go to post offices and throw in their own. If you throw in any vote in the post office here in Nigeria, it will bounce. Yes, it will not be recorded. No, that's the truth. Presently, it will not be recorded. Vote at home. They will look at what happened in 2023. You know, 25th February. Where a presidential election held the same day, that of Senate, that of House of Reps held the same day, and this Senate House of Reps were uploaded, and when it came to presidential, I thought it was glitch. It's a shame. So it's because of that our electoral body for now is not trustworthy. So cases must go to court. Politicians are not ready to comport themselves. Cases must go to court. When we get to such a time where we stop all this issue of stealing votes and all right, then cases in court will reduce. Because when you lose, you'll be confident that you try your best, but your best appear not to be good enough for the moment. You wait for the next. But when you know that you won and you are shortchanged with insult on it, instead of going to burn somebody's house or kill somebody, you have to go to court. So, but the court has to wake up. This is the time judiciary should indeed assert herself on what judicial means in a democracy. This is the time.
All right. In all of this, do the public, the people who are being governed, do they have any role to play at all?
They have a role to play, only that the sad aspect is the level of gullibility among the governed. Because somebody comes to give you 5,000 naira, 10,000, and you tell me you value that amount, to collect it and vote for the person. So after that, what else can you offer? How can you stand to object when you have been bought over? It's not everybody that is bought over anyway. So what the populace have to do, those who stand on their worth, is to keep raising objections, raising peaceful protests, using all avenues of the media, okay, and so on and so forth, the organizations, the NGOs, to press, to insist. It is these collective fights that help. In fact, things has even a bit improved now, because of the activities of the non-governmental agencies, all right, the press have been so useful and helpful in this country.
They set up them,
yes,
society organizations,
yes,
too.
So all this put together need to increase the tempo. That's the best, because one thing politicians is that they hate being exposed. They love doing things like secret societies. They hate being exposed. But the more they're exposed, the better the society gets. That's actually what needs to be done. Those who are sitting to vote buying should bury their heads in shame, because they should know that whatever they think they are gaining, they are destroying the society worse than anything. What is 10,000? Even if somebody give you ₦1 million, to what extent will he go after casting that ballot? You don't need to take money from somebody to vote for who you want. Vote according to your conscience. That's why people still keep referring to June 12th election in this country. We all lined up and voted. And the worst atrocity were committed by IBB, and he's a military junta.
But IBB in his book said it was Abacha that did it.
That's arrant nonsense. If it was Abacha that forget about all those.
That's bygone. That's by the way. Are you thinking we're talking about? Though you said it, that as far as elections in Nigeria is concerned, the interference of the judiciary. Not interference per se, but then cases must go to court. Now, there is a lot of speculations in the air concerning 2027. What are you thinking about 2027? Because a lot of people are saying the judiciary is no longer the hope of the last hope of the common man. Like you have already said, as a legal practitioner, you've already said there are things that needs to be corrected, yes, and there should be a proper separation between the legislature and the executive. Now, what are you thinking about 2027?
The 2027 election, I will be frank with you, I'm not expecting a departure from what happened in 2023. We need a healthy and sound INEC. We don't have it now. And that same INEC will expire 2027. I'm not expecting any departure, personally. It's not pessimism at all. We're talking of facts. I'm not expecting any departure. We don't have an INEC that will give us credible election in 2027.
But you remember, INEC made a statement when people, a lot of Nigerians, I've heard from a lot of Nigerians of the fact that they don't believe in INEC. INEC said something after the Edo off-cycle election that they've learned their lessons. And of course, there are some monies being expected to do certain things. Where is really the problem? Because most of the times we have glitches, and majority of it is electronic, which can happen anytime because it's technical. So INEC haven't said that they've learned their lesson. Don't you think Nigerians need to believe in INEC some more?
You see, saying they learned their lessons, they made that comment after Anambra election, they made it after Ondo election, they made it after Osun, and then, after Edo. How many lessons do you learn? One beating, twice shy. How many lessons do you learn? All right? And all those kind. Look, even that June 12th election of 1993, military regime. But we had Professor Humphrey Nwosu, who was in charge of INEC. Under the jabut and threats of force of the military, a man stood by principle. That is what we need. When you have such a man, there's nothing like glitches. Absolutely nothing like glitches. Glitches is a wicked satanic language of a cheat, a dupe, an arm robber. To use such insulting language that will harm him for life. When you have an honest umpire ahead of an organization like INEC, there's nothing like glitches. Humphrey Nwosu did not allow any glitches whatsoever. All right? Senator Zeribe was used by ABN, you know, all those manipulations, but Humphrey Nwosu stood against it until IBB decided to do whatever rubbish he wanted to do. But he stood his ground. That's the kind of human being we need. Not a person who has sold his soul to Satan and to stupid, senseless money. So there's something like glitches. There's nothing like that. In the home, if you have an organized father, things go well. You have an organized mother, who is, you know, who are the DGs of the home, Director General, they do things properly. There will be no issue of maltreating the house helps under her watch, and so on and so forth. There will be nothing because they don't create the room for it. So there's nothing like glitches. It wasn't there till 5th February 2023. There was not like glitches. It will not be there in 2027. There's nothing like glitches. We need a fair-minded, posterity-conscious umpire ahead of INEC. Then all this nonsense.
All right. I think we'll be rounding up right now because of our time. This is going to be the last question that I'm going to be asking you right now. On a final note, now, we're talking about judiciary. What role do you think the NBC can play, all right, in sensitizing the judicial system?
I don't know, the NBA.
NBA, I beg your pardon, not NBC. NBC is National Broadcasting Corporation. I'm talking about Nigerian Bar Association. That's NBA.
Nigerian Bar Association have been trying, but you know, Nigerian Bar Association is to the judges what the press is to the society. NBA creates awareness, you know, creates awareness, urges for things to be done. But the judge is the person who is looking at the facts and figures brought before him or her. You know, NBA cannot discipline a judge. It's the Nigerian Judicial Council, NJC, that disciplines judges. Okay? So, but NBA creates the awareness and can do more. The NBA have been harping on this thing, have been raising issues and so on and so forth. But the person or the persons that the onus is on to dispense are the ones that the attention, they need to really wake up to their responsibility. There are judges who are doing well, and people know. You know, we need, for instance, when Igini was he a resident commissioner of INEC or national, something like that? Is that resident? Yes, in Akwa Ibom, an officer of INEC. All right? You see the kind of things he did. A man who has conscience. You know, we need that across board among the bench. Okay? So we create the awareness, we do everything we need to do, but the buck stops at the table of those who sit to look at these things. Okay. But one thing is that posterity is uncompromisable.
All right.
Yes.
One very important thing is the fact that there is always tomorrow. Whatever we do, we should make sure governance is very important, and we are always meant to serve. All right. Thank you for coming on the program today. This is how far time will allow us, Barrister.
A pleasure being here.
Well, viewers out there, this is going to be the size of Global Morning, the second discussion. And of course, after this break, we'll return and we'll bring Global Morning to a close. Do stay with us. Not something that you can finish talking about in a day, because in a democratic setting, so many things play out. A lot of people are satisfied and a lot of people are dissatisfied with so many happenings, especially with the electoral umpire. And apart from that, the politicians who have actually made politics their career are making things excessively difficult, the process to say, well, that's it, the judiciary, their intervention, he said, whether you like it or not, until tomorrow, cases will still be going to court in as much as human beings are involved in politics.
Like I mentioned, I've mentioned on the program that we've not gotten to that part yet when everyone will say, okay, fine, I didn't win the election. All right, congratulations. I won't go to court concerning an election that has happened. It's just few that have that mindset. We saw it that it played out during the time of our former president Goodluck Jonathan, that paved way for President Muhammadu Buhari. But some other procedures will definitely come up again when it comes to local government, when it comes to governorship. It depends. A lot of these issues will still press on, just like what our guests mentioned. And with that, we have to wrap up the program on Global Morning. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program with us today. And don't forget, it's a Tag Team Monday crew. I am Jumai Manson, and my co-host that wears amazing glasses,
Ramsey Enoch.
And we say,
have a beautiful day ahead of you.
Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve the struggle as a strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.